What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 16 of the RGP series. On this episode, we'll be taking a look at the Slayer monster that requires the third highest level to successfully kill the Dark Beasts. Thanks for coming back to check out another video. If you haven't done so yet, make sure you follow me on Twitter and Instagram to see when I post new content and to check out some cool player submitted achievements. You can submit your achievements in either my Discord channel or directly on Instagram. If you need a link for the Discord, please check out the description below for the permanent invite link. Additionally, if you'd like to meet some new people that are constantly looking for boss teams, consider joining my clan chat. It shouldn't take you too long to find a squad to team up with. So without further ado, let's get into this week's content. The Dark Beasts are a higher level NPC in terms of both combat level and Slayer level required to fight them. Historically, the Dark Beasts weren't a part of the original batch of Slayer monsters that were released in early 2005. Dark Beasts actually came closer to the end of 2005 when the Morning's End Part 2 quest was released. This offered a vast expansion of an underground cave system located underneath Western Ardoin. And if you're thinking to yourself, what the hell is Ardoin? Most of you may know it as Ardoon, Ardon, Ardugni, but according to the Jagex mods, it is pronounced Ardoin. The Dark Beasts used to only be found in one location, which was through the cave system underneath the Mourner's headquarters in Western Ardoin. Using this spot to kill the Dark Beast requires you to have the full Mourner outfit on you in order to enter, which takes up a ton of inventory space. Fortunately, with the release of the Catacombs of Kourend, we now have a much more easily accessible location to find a couple of Dark Beast spawns. Within the Catacombs of Kourend, you will want to take the southern passage as soon as you enter, follow it past the Hill Giants, then the Bloodvelds, and finally past the Fire Giants, and you will arrive at a nice little nook with two Dark Beasts roaming around. The best part about this NPC is that it never loses its aggressive nature. You could just stand here and never have to move for hours on end. Just make sure you keep your prayer up. Getting into the background information, the Dark Beasts sport a combat level of 182 and an accompanying hit points level of 220. As I said before, they are aggressive. Their weakness is either stab or slash style attacks. The Dark Beasts have two different maximum hits, 17 with melee and an 8 with magic. Although they do have a magic attack, they will rarely use this attack unless they can't get within melee range of you. If you fight them within melee distance, you won't have to worry so much about the magic attack. Please keep in mind that you will need a Slayer level of 90 or higher to successfully fight the Dark Beasts. Additionally, you will need to complete the Morning's End Part 1 quest and the first step of Morning's End Part 2 to be assigned Dark Beasts as a Slayer task. The Dark Beasts have an attack level of 140, strength level of 160, and a defense level of 120, range level of 1, and a magic level of 160. As for the resistances, they do have very good resistances against crush, magic, and ranged, but much less resistance to stab and slash. Although the stab resistance is a bit lower than the slash defense, the Abyssal Whip's superior offensive stats when compared to the Zamorak and Hasta will make it the primary weapon of choice here. As for the drop table, the Dark Beasts have one unique drop, which is that pesky bow that all Void PKers seem to love so much. The Dark Beasts are the only NPC in the game which drop the Dark Bow. This item has a drop rate of 1 in 512. In all honesty, the Dark Beast drop table isn't that impressive even after its buff. Originally, the Dark Beasts only dropped 3 death runes, some rune chain bodies here and there, and a few grimy herbs, among other seldom drops. But somewhat recently, and by recently I mean OSRS recently, the drop table was buffed. Dark Beasts now drop many more runes, as well as some decent rune items, noted ores and bars, and some herb seeds. If you'd like to see the Dark Beast drop table for yourself, please check out the wiki link in the description below. So now we head on to the gear setup. Dark Beasts are decently strong and do require the Protect from Melee prayer to kill them. If you try to kill them without Protect from Melee, you'll be leaving to grab your prayer gear within a short amount of time. So, for my setup, I'll be going with the Helm of Nitsnot, Fire Cape, Amulet of Torture, Unholy Blessing, Proselyte Plate and Legs, Barrow's Gloves, Primordial Boots, Berserker's Ring Eye, and my weapon of choice and offhand will be the Abyssal Whip and Dragon Defender. In my inventory, you'll see 2 supersets, 8 prayer potions, some house teleports, a rune pouch, and an herb sack. This particular setup allows me to stay here for about 2 hours. If you're on a long Slayer task and would like to stay longer, just bring some runes for high alchemy and a few more prayer potions. As most of their drops either stack, can be alched, or stored in a rune pouch, you should have no trouble staying here for quite a while. And now, as usual, we will head on to the loot. I killed the Dark Beast for the normal 25 hours and managed to rake in 1,986 kills, which averaged me about 79 kills per hour. Now, as you can see on the screen, unfortunately the loot wasn't very good. On the left you'll see the loot without the unique dark bow drops, and on the right you will see the dark bows added in. Fortunately, I was right on the money for the drop rate for how many I killed, so both of these loot stats will be fairly accurate. Without the dark bows in there, I only managed to bring in 4,595,221 GP in net loot value. With the dark bows added in, my net value increases to 6,262,101 GP. Still not too great, but better than before. As for supply costs, I ended up spending 1,183,254 GP to be here for the full 25 hours. This would leave me with 3,411,967 GP profit without the dark bows, and 5,078,847 GP with the dark bows included. This brings my profit per hour to 136k without the dark bows and 203k with them. Either way you look at it, this is not too good. So, as for my final thoughts, Dark Beasts are not great at all for some money making and quick cash. In all honesty, they're not even very good for Slayer tasks. Their mediocre drop table is definitely lacking in terms of the caliber of the NPC. You need 90 Slayer to kill these, as well as some decent stats to kill them in an acceptable amount of time. So even though the drop table did get buffed some time back, when comparing these to things like Kurosks, Wyverns, Gargoyles, or Neckrails, they just fall way short of the benchmark for what a high level Slayer NPC should be. But that is going to do it, everyone. Thanks again for checking out this episode of the Real GP series. Even though the loot wasn't too great, I still had a blast putting this episode together. If you like this video, please leave it a thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments, you can leave those down below and I will try to get to every single one that I can. Don't forget to tap that subscribe button on your way out. I will see you guys next week. Take it easy, everybody.